On a scale from 1 to 10, how much of a ripoff did you feel like With Love Meghan was of your show, Pamela's Cooking with Love? There were articles saying that these two shows were very similar.
1. I didn't.
You did not, on a scale from 1 to 10, on 1.
No,
you did not see any similarities.
No, I didn't really look, but I mean,
yeah.
I didn't invent cooking shows or
yes.
shows, so I mean,
yes.
She's just doing her thing.
The world of celebrity is really a kaleidoscope of flashing lights, whispered rumors, and carefully curated personas, where authenticity often battles sensationalism for the spotlight. In this glittering arena, where narratives are spun faster than a spider's web, Pamela Anderson stood poised at a crossroads. It was a warm summer evening in 2025, and the air buzzed with anticipation as a television host leaned forward, eyes glinting with the promise of controversy. The question was sharp, designed to slice. Pamela, people are saying Meghan Sussex's Love Meghan is a carbon copy of your Pamela's Cooking with Love. What do you think? How similar are the two shows? The audience held its breath, honestly expecting a spark to ignite the kind of drama that fuels tabloid headlines. But Pamela, with the grace of someone who has weathered countless media storms, smiled softly and tilted her head. "I'd give it a 1 out of 10, she said, her voice steady and warm. "Cooking shows aren't new, and I didn't invent them. Meghan Sussex is doing her thing, and I'm doing mine. There's room for all of us." In that moment, Pamela didn't just answer a question. She dismantled a narrative, choosing peace over pettiness, and setting the stage for a powerful moment of female solidarity that would ripple far beyond the studio walls. The media, ever hungry for conflict, had laid a trap. The question wasn't about culinary creativity or television formats. It was a thinly veiled attempt to pit two women against each other, to fan the flames of a tired cultural reflex that thrives on tearing down those who dare to shine. For years, Meghan Sussex had been a lightning rod for such tactics, her every move dissected and distorted. From the moment she stepped into the public eye, she was accused of copying others, whether it was opening a jar of homemade jam or launching a lifestyle brand. The narrative was as predictable as it was exhausting. Meghan, the outsider, the disruptor, must be derivative, unoriginal, a mimic. Her show, Love Meghan, a soft and soulful exploration of mindfulness, beauty and intentional living, was no exception. Critics pounced, claiming it bore too close a resemblance to Pamela Anderson's Pamela's Cooking with Love, a vibrant celebration of food, family, and unapologetic individuality. But Pamela saw through the ruse. Having endured her own decades of media manipulation, from the tabloid frenzy of the 90s to the relentless scrutiny of her personal reinventions, she recognized the game for what it was. With a single sentence, she refused to play, and in doing so, she rewrote the script. Love Meghan was not a copy of anything. It was a reflection of Meghan's heart, a tapestry woven from her experiences as a woman navigating a world that often seemed determined to misunderstand her. The show's aesthetic was deliberate. Soft lighting, earthy tones, and a pace that invited viewers to pause and breathe. It wasn't about flashy recipes or competitive flair. It was about creating a space where healing could unfold, where a cup of tea or a hand-stitched napkin could carry the weight of intention. Meghan's voice, calm and measured, guided viewers through moments of quiet beauty, kneading dough, arranging flowers, or sharing stories of resilience. It was a calling, not a spectacle, and it stood in stark contrast to the chaotic media environment that swirled around her. Pamela's show, on the other hand, was a love letter to her roots, a boisterous celebration of bold flavors and unfiltered joy. Where Meghan Sussex's set was a sanctuary of serenity, Pamela's kitchen was a stage for laughter, spontaneity, and the kind of warmth that spills over like a pot of simmering stew. The two shows were as different as their creators, yet the media insisted on framing them as rivals, as if women in the spotlight could only exist in opposition. Pamela's refusal to take the bait was more than a moment of decorum. It was a rebellion against a culture that thrives on division. For too long, the narrative of women in the public eye has been one of scarcity. There can only be one queen, one icon, one success story. The media's attempt to spark a feud between Pamela and Meghan Sussex was a textbook example of this tired trope, a ploy to sell headlines by manufacturing conflict. But Pamela, with her years of wisdom and, scars from similar battles, saw the bigger picture. She understood that tearing down another woman would only, perpetuate the cycle of scrutiny she herself had endured. Instead, she chose to uplift, to acknowledge Meghan Sussex's work as distinct and valid. Meghan Sussex's show is about healing, about finding peace in the little things, Pamela later elaborated in an interview. Mine's about grabbing life by the horns and having a good time. We're not trying to do the same thing, and that's okay. There's enough space for both of us to create, to inspire, to be ourselves. Her words were a balm, a reminder that authenticity doesn't need to compete. It simply exists. This moment of solidarity was a symbolic victory, a quiet but, honestly, seismic shift in the narrative surrounding women in the media. Pamela's stance sent a clear message. Not all women are interested in tearing each other down. Some, like her, choose to build bridges instead. Her refusal to engage in the smear campaign against Meghan Sussex was a beacon for viewers, critics, and the media itself, challenging them to rethink the stories they tell and the conflicts they invent. It was a reminder that authenticity cannot be stolen or faked, that peace is a choice, and that women can support one another without diminishing their own light. The significance of Pamela's defense extended beyond the two women involved. It was, I think, a call to action for a culture that's just, too quick to pit women against each other, to reduce their achievements to these, petty rivalries. In standing up for Meghan Sussex, Pamela stood up for every woman who has been unfairly scrutinized, every creator who has been accused of being too much or not enough. The impact of Pamela's words rippled outward, joining a growing chorus of influential women who have publicly supported Meghan Sussex. Mariah Carey, with her signature candor, had praised Meghan Sussex's resilience, calling her a force of grace under pressure. Serena Williams, a longtime friend, had spoken of Meghan Sussex's ability to shine through the noise, her strength rooted in purpose rather than applause. Oprah Winfrey, whose interview with Meghan Sussex and Harry had shifted global conversations, described Love Meghan as a gift to anyone seeking a moment of calm in a stormy world. Even Beyoncé, ever selective with her endorsements, had sent a handwritten note commending Meghan Sussex's quiet strength and the authenticity of her vision. Now, Pamela Anderson joined this constellation of voices, her support carrying the weight of someone who had fought her own battles against media caricature. Together, these women formed a tapestry of solidarity, a testament to the power of recognizing and celebrating each other's unique contributions. For Meghan Sussex, the support was a lifeline, a reminder that her work was seen and valued by those who understood the cost of living authentically in the public eye. Love Meghan was more than a television show. It was a reclamation of her narrative, a space where she could, define herself on her own terms. Each episode was a small act of defiance against the chaos that had swirled around her for years. Accusations of inauthenticity, relentless tabloid attacks, and the weight of public expectation. The show's nurturing aesthetic, with its focus on mindfulness and beauty, was a deliberate counterpoint to the toxicity of the media environment. It invited viewers to slow down, to find joy in the mundane, to heal through the act of creating. Whether it was a segment on planting a garden or a conversation about the power of gratitude, Love Meghan was a reflection of Meghan Sussex's soul, a testament to her belief that, honestly, softness could be a form of strength. And in Pamela's defense, Meghan Sussex found not just validation, but a kindred spirit, someone who had also walked through the fire of public scrutiny and emerged with her integrity intact. The broader cultural implications of this moment were profound. Pamela's stance was a masterclass in dignity, a blueprint for how to navigate a world that thrives on manufactured drama. it was a reminder that women don't have to play by the rules of a game rigged against them. By choosing not to engage in the media's attempt to spark a feud, Pamela modeled a different kind of power, one rooted in empathy, wisdom, and the courage to say no to divisiveness. Her actions challenged the public to question the narratives they consume, to ask why the media so often pits women against each other, and to demand stories that celebrate rather than diminish. For young women watching, Pamela's response was a lesson in grace under pressure, a reminder that they, too, could choose to rise above pettiness and support their peers. For the media, it was a wake-up call, a signal that not every celebrity would take the bait, that some would choose truth over sensationalism. As the dust settled from that pivotal television moment, the conversation around Love Meghan and Pamela's Cooking with Love began to shift. Viewers, inspired by Pamela's words, started to see the shows for what they were, unique expressions of two women's passions, not competing products in a zero-sum game. Social media, often a battleground for divisive rhetoric, became a space for celebration. Fans shared clips of Pamela's response alongside highlights from Meghan Sussex's show, praising both women for their authenticity and resilience. Hashtags like women supporting women and authenticity over drama trended, amplifying the message that there was room for everyone to shine. The media, caught off guard by Pamela's refusal to fuel their narrative, scrambled to find new angles, but the public's appetite for conflict seemed to wane. Instead, people craved connection, inspiration, and stories of women lifting each other up. In the weeks that followed, Pamela and Meghan Sussex exchanged a quiet gesture of mutual respect. A bouquet of wildflowers arrived at Pamela's home, accompanied by a handwritten note from Meghan Sussex. "Thank you for seeing me." Pamela, in turn, sent Meghan Sussex a jar of her homemade strawberry jam with a note that read, "Keep shining, sister. The world needs your light." It was a private moment, untouched by the cameras, but it carried the weight of their shared understanding. Both women had faced the relentless glare of public scrutiny, and both had chosen to carve out spaces where they could be themselves, unapologetically, authentically, and without apology. Their shows, though different in tone and purpose, were testaments to their resilience, proof that creativity could flourish even in the face of adversity. The conclusion of this story is not just about two women or two television shows. It's about the power of choosing a different path. Pamela Anderson's defense of Meghan Sussex was a clarion call, a reminder that we can reject the narratives that seek to divide us. It was a victory for authenticity over artifice, for peace over pettiness, for facts over foolishness. In a world that often feels fractured, where headlines scream and social media amplifies, Pamela's words were a beacon of hope, a reminder that we can choose to see each other, to celebrate each other, to lift each other up. For Meghan Sussex, it was an affirmation to keep going, to continue softening the world with her intention and grace. Her influence, as Pamela recognized, lies not in conforming to expectations or mimicking others, but in the quiet power of her energy and soul. And for all of us, it's a challenge to rewrite the script, to choose solidarity over rivalry, to build a world where every woman's light can shine without casting a shadow on another. As the cameras fade and the headlines move on, Pamela and Meghan Sussex's moment of unity remains, a testament to the beauty of standing together in a world that too often tries to tear us apart.